All right, listeners, welcome back to another episode of Rising Sign, Rise and Grind. Now, this week's interview is going to be a little spicy and a little raunchy. So if you haven't yet, stick those AirPods in and don't say I didn't warn you. Okay. Today's guest is a sex coach that's helping women reclaim their pleasure, and she's about to show up strong on national TV. I am so excited to interview Erica Lemke today, a sex coach based out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and as I can officially say, as featured on The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Season 2. Let's give a big round of applause and welcome to the show.
Wow, this is so exciting. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I love it. This is so wonderful.
Erica, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. I feel like I've been keeping the secret for a long time. But the show is officially out today, which is so exciting. So, sex. Salt Lake City, Utah, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We have a lot to get into today. But first, go ahead and give yourself a little intro. Who you are, where you come from, all the good vibes. Go ahead, Erica.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. This is such a pleasure. Well, my name is Erica Lemke. As Lindsay said, I'm a sex coach based in Salt Lake City. I'm originally from Northern California. I've been in Utah for about 13, almost 14 years now. And I love this town. I love being in this community and being able to be around all of these amazing people and having this experience has just been wonderful. And it's opened up so many opportunities for me. So it's just such a pleasure.
Love that. More than
I'm a little giddy.
It's a pleasure more than one way, I'm sure.
Exactly.
So Erica, I know I got lots of burning questions about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. However, we don't get to Secret Lives of Mormon Wives without the backbone of your entire business. So as a reminder to our listeners, this is an interview section of Rising Sign, Rise and Grind, where I will bring on solo entrepreneurs, small business owners. And what we do is we learn a little bit about their business. And then we go through and we do an audit on your birth chart to see if you are aligned and starry-eyed or if we need a little bit of work to make you align with your birth chart. So this first half, we're going to dive into your big business origin story. So a couple questions. How does one get into sex coaching?
Well, I will tell you, it was a very circuitous path for me. So this was not my first professional choice. This is not what I as a teenager thought I'm going to become a sex coach. It just didn't happen like that. And honestly, exactly.
Sex coach.
Exactly. So, and I actually thought that, that was kind of like, even kind of like some of these professions where you can just kind of, I was going to call myself a sex coach and put this on my door, right? I am all about education. So I actually am trained as a marriage and family therapist. Oh. And so that was kind of, I feel that was my foundation. Mm-hmm. Not even knowing that, look forward, decades in the future that this is what I would be doing. But I'm so grateful for that experience. So I have degrees in kinesiology, gerontology, marriage and family therapy. I was a personal trainer. I was a dance instructor. I was a wellness and life coach. And so I feel all of these things have what I call like career capital. I have all these great, rare and, valuable skills that I've been kind of building on, honestly, for decades. And it was about 5 years ago when, I don't know, things just happened in my life. I actually wrote a book about sexual confidence prior to becoming a sex coach called Feel Sexy Again. But I thought there was just a missing piece. And I just always knew that I loved talking about sex. People always loved talking to me about sex, and I felt really comfortable. So I thought, well, can I actually make a career out of this? So I did a lot of research. Yeah. And I actually ended up going back to school to get a master's level certification in sexology and sex coaching. And I want to say, I just want to thank my mentor, who is Dr. Patty Britton with Sex Coach University. She was the driving force for me to start on this path, and I'm just so grateful.
Amazing. So it almost sounds like you said you've been circulating their drain the entire time of what kind of the root issue. And I feel like that tends to happen a lot with the people I talk with on the show, is that they've always been a sliver of what their most passionate thing is, and it kind of comes to fruition at the very end, right? And it's not the very end. It's the beginning. So
it's just the beginning. Yeah.
The beginning. So kind of listening to you, when did you realize that this really could be your business and not necessarily something you're just passionate about? When did you decide that you're going to do full throttle, get that LLC and go forward with it?
probably about 4 years ago. Four
Okay.
years ago, I thought, can I actually really make a business? And that's the first thing I did, actually. I got my name, I got my URL, I got my LLC, which now I'm actually an S corp as well.
Woo.
So I did all the back stuff, I think, way before I even launched this, because again, I thought I really just I wanted people to look at me as someone who is like legit, not someone who was just, again, throwing on look at me, this is what I do. But I wanted to back up with all the business part of it. I got my business, checking account. I did all of those things even before I really started the business. And I thought that was really, really good and smart to do that ahead of time. So, and now everything is just kind of following along like dominoes.
Yeah. I'm going to use a lot of sexual innuendos in this talk. So you're not raw dogging your business is what I'm hearing. So I feel the same. I can say that appropriately.
Yes, you can.
So you have everything set up. When was the moment that was like, holy shit, I'm doing this? Like, it's happening. Like, can you?
Yeah.
Was it when the producer emailed you?
Yeah. Well, I could say that, but
what was your holy shit moment? It's happening.
Man, my gosh, I would probably say, actually, to back up a little bit, I actually got hired through a healthcare company. And I was like, they're actually going to pay me to do this. Let's do it. Let's try it out. And I'm still actually working for them. And that's actually been another phenomenal experience that I've had. But I think it was more legitimizing what I do. When you hear sex coach, you're like, oh, what do they do? There's a lot of misconceptions, I imagine, that comes with this. So me actually working for a very legitimate healthcare company was like, okay, maybe this is actually something that like I can actually show up and like really, really own it and honor it within that in myself. And I'm like, let's do it.
Well, you kind of hit on my next question. So what does a sex coach do? And how is it different?
Great question.
From a sex therapist?
And thank you for that, because there is a delineation, and I think a lot of people don't know about that. So for me, sex coach is different than sex therapy, and again, I have a therapy background, but I do not do sex therapy, and that's a different field than marriage and family therapy. Therapy is working more with processing heavy emotions, maybe a lot of trauma work, a lot of past dysfunction, and really staying in more of a past mindset. Where coaching, what I do is you take people from where they are now, you kind of build the bridge to where they want to go. And I'm helping them to kind of bridge that gap to what their sexual goals are. So we really focus on like what's happening now and where you want to go in the future.
Fantastic. So truly a coach. Like if you're thinking, well, weight coach, I want to lift more weight.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yep.
Love that. So sorry, my nose is absolutely, we had these massive rainstorms where I'm at. So like the pollen is 100% right now. Woo.
You too.
I'm like, oh, my nose. So tell me, what would like a typical session, or like what's something that you would focus on with your clients in a typical one-on-one session with them? I'm assuming you're doing one-on-ones.
I do one-on-one. Yeah. So I do kind of a variety of things. So yes, I do one-on-ones. I do couples work, workshops, parties, retreats, but for one-on-one couples or one-on-one individuals,
yeah,
they might come to me for enhancing their, sexual lives with their partner. Maybe someone has never had an orgasm and they want the tools to figure out how to start that process. Someone might just want to get into, like, they just even don't know what they want. And they are really, really kind of unsure of like just what direction to go. So I give them a lot of tools. I give them a lot of exercises. To be really clear, I do not do any hands-on work. And I get a lot of weird requests. And so like,
imagine. Yeah.
So like when the production company reached out to me, they internet stalked me, but I definitely internet stalked them before I decided they were actually legit. So I get a lot of like, so it's busting myths about what I do and what I bring to the table too. So a lot of it is really just figuring out what is your sexual goal, and it could change, but here, let's start with this and let's see what we can get to attain that goal for you. But they're doing the work. It's kind of like talk therapy in a way, but I'm giving them a lot of exercises, and it's very co-creative. So I'm not just telling them what to do. They're very much a part of the process, because it's their life and they're the ones who have to show up for themselves.
Yeah. I love that. If you feel comfortable, can you kind of walk us through a client transformation that you've had?
Yeah, I was trying to write down where do I start? And I mean, there's so many.
I'll give
I'll give two really quick ones. So with the healthcare company that I work with,
Yeah.
I work with a lot of people who are trying to conceive. And I worked with a couple that I've been working with maybe for about 4 months now. And they've been trying to conceive for like the last 2 years.
Okay.
And I just started IVF, but sex was a chore. And I get that so much from people, especially when they're in that space of like, okay, I'm ovulating, let's hit it, you know,
Yeah.
and where's the connection between the two of them? So I work on them reestablishing the pleasure connection between the two of them. Just not outcome based.
Yep.
You're not going to look for a baby right now. You're going to connect with your partner and really, really work on that, giving them exercises to be able to achieve. So I did this with this couple, and 2 weeks ago, they let me know they are pregnant. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe, we can't believe this is happening. We wish we'd talked to you 2 years ago. So that was incredible, like just pure magic.
like even hearing you talk about that, like we've had friends that have really struggled getting pregnant. And it's funny because it's like, God, everyone just tells you to like not stress out, go on vacation. But it's like that stuff can lead to it. And if like you are losing that like connection to your partner, that stuff happens. Like it becomes stressful.
Totally.
Like your body doesn't want to respond to that because it's not, it is not seeing your body as a place to like want to reproduce. Interesting.
Exactly. And if we're in our heads, like, so if we're thinking about an outcome, our predictive brains are saying like, I want this to happen. Our bodies are not going to connect with our brains when we're in that space. We have to get out of the sympathetic nervous system, get into the parasympathetic where we're in a relaxed and rest and digest state, or that relaxed state, in order for some of these things to happen.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, that was number one. What's number two?
Number two, I also work with a lot of older folks. So I am 55, and I feel like this is like I'm a very young 55. I'll admit that right now, but I love working with older folks. And there was a couple out of Florida with my private practice. So I do a lot of telehealth. A lot of my business is telehealth. He's 83, she's 88. I've been working with them for over 9 months, and he came to me because he wanted to enhance their sexual life. He had prostate cancer. He has a penis pump. She has major back issues. And so they had a lot of limitations to work in. And she hadn't had an orgasm up until maybe in her late 60s. And so she was having kind of some issues with that again. So oh my gosh. Yeah, ever. So we got her to, so a lot of it comes from, where we are in our lives, right? Sexual shame, embarrassment, right? Those scripts that we play. And if we've had partners in our lives who have maybe not necessarily been great lovers, or not even telling letting us feel our own pleasure, then, a lot of women are not going to be able to really achieve orgasm, right? Because they don't even know their own pleasure. So, so I'm still working with them, and now it's kind of like maintenance because they've come so far. It's just been, again, they're like my poster children for what like sexual success can be through the lifespan, quite frankly, which is very exciting for me.
So for you, kind of personally, what are some of the biggest maybe mindset blocks or like external obstacles that you had to face to get to this point?
Sure, absolutely. Well, I think just a lot of it is courage, and how am I going to be seen out there, right? Because for me, a lot of it was like, is my family going to approve? Are my friends going to approve? I know that sounds stupid, but it was still important to me, and wanting myself to really show up in a way that was, again, I have education, I'm professional, I set good boundaries. And I think that was like always in my head of like, I just want to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. But also realizing that nothing's perfect. So a lot of it was trial and error, and trying to just come back and keep trusting myself, and getting, we all have imposter syndrome, right? But trying to like just say, okay, even if I do have imposter syndrome, are there places that I can see, like the science of hindsight, where I can say I've done a good job, I've seen what I can do, and I've seen those transformations. So I have to trust that I can keep moving forward. And if I have to tweak here and there, if I have to do other things, but keep moving forward, even if I fail and fall flat on my face, get up again and keep moving forward, and seeing where those little nuggets happen, and then just really focus on those and say, okay, what made this successful, and how can I continue doing that?
one of the things you said, imposter syndrome. And I think one of my favorite things about being in this day and age with social media is that the imposter syndrome for me kind of melts away, because it makes me realize that even the people I thought were experts, like surrounding myself, they're not. Like, no one can ever be an expert. It's like you just have to put the one foot outside the door. And as you said, you continue to learn, you continue to hone, you continue to craft. No one comes out of the world being an expert or something, unless you're like musically gifted. And then I'm so jealous of those people. So what is something you wish that people knew more about your industry, or like more about like your clients when they come to you?
More about the industry. I think that people can think of it as kind of like, what's the big deal? Like, what's the big deal? For me, I think that, sex is our life force. It's our vitality. And I think if our sexual life isn't aligned with kind of that wellness wheel, right? Like the full whole person, then I think it's going to show up for people. And maybe it's subconscious. Maybe they don't really know about it. But if we can feel really secure in our sexuality and really embrace who we are in that kind of slice of the pie, so to speak, that I think that just that rounds out every single other aspect of our lives. And I work from a framework where I talk about mind, I talk about energy, body behavior, spirituality, emotions. And with that, I think that's kind of like that construct where it's not just like saying, oh, okay, tell me about your sex. And like, just because I think people just think it'd be just kind of crass, right? Or that I do hands-on work and some people even think that, oh, can you watch me masturbate or whatever? Like, nah, I don't do that. I can refer you to other sites to do that, but that's not the work that I do.
Yes. Okay.
And I've had a number of those.
I
that down.
I don't love you at all. Have you seen a transformation in yourself?
Say it again.
Have you seen a transformation in yourself since starting this business?
Oh, I would say 100%.
Good.
100%. And I will tell you, actually, through this going on the show and preparing for the show and all of that, like, I was like, I just don't want to look like an a-hole on national TV. So, I mean, honestly, that was my full goal in doing all of this to get prepared for this segment. It was like, I want to show up, but I want to make sure my colleagues are happy with what I do, that my mentors are, that I look good in front of my friends and family. So like, I want to show up in the best way that I can for my clients, and knowing that people that see me out there going, oh, maybe this is actually worthy. I'm having some issues and maybe it's okay to actually talk about this stuff. And I think that's it. We are so afraid. We don't talk about it, right? We're not communicating about the sex that we're having or that we're not having. And we need to start having this conversation.
I love that. And like a perfect segue into The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So it aired today. From description, it looks like you're going to be in episode 4. Have you?
And can I tell you, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, I was about to ask. I didn't give you like a sneak peek or anything.
I am waiting. I am waiting because tonight we have a watch party. So I am being very good about waiting. I want to watch it so badly, but I want to have people around me to see it together. And someone asked me, like, what if something doesn't work? Like, are you going to be embarrassed and you just want to like just curl up downstairs and watch it by yourself? I'm like, hell no. I want my friends and family to be around me. Like, what a cool moment. Even if I'm on for 2 seconds, it's a win, right?
Yeah. It's such a cool thing too, especially because like, so for me, this is such like a full circle moment, because my first viral TikTok was because of the swinging scandal with Taylor Frankie Paul. So whatever, 3 years ago when that first came out, I was 22, right?
Wow.
Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, and I like my little TikTok was like, wow, the mom talk went from swig to swinging really quickly. And like, I woke up and it exploded. So like the fact that you're like on the show, for the listeners, Erica's a good family friend. So I had known about this for months. And in fact, when the producers reached out to you, reached out to me, and you're like, is this a big deal? And I was like, I will disown you if you do this. I'm pretty sure it was the vibe.
And honestly, like because I said it, I get a lot of weird DMs. I get a little, and so when they emailed me and I was like, is this legit? So literally, like, I'm stalking them going, okay, this production company, who's this? Who's the people that I'm like, oh crap. Yes, this is real. Okay. All right. Yeah. Hell yeah, let's do this.
Well, and it like season 1 like shook the nation. Like
Oh,
it became
wow.
an international phenomenon too. Anyways, so tell us a little bit. So they reach out to you via email. How did they find you?
So I guess the internet stalked me. So I think they found me on like Yelp and Google. So like, checking Google reviews, making sure that I was legit. And then they looked at my website. They wanted somebody who was local, and someone who was more in the coach space versus a therapist space. And I think they liked my vibe. They liked my energy. And so when I said, yeah, let's talk, we got on a phone call, and it happened like within 3 weeks. So once they approached me, I was like, okay, let's go. I had some framework, but a lot of it was just me just thinking, okay, what do I want to teach? How do I want to present this? And so they really gave me a lot of the reins within a very, very kind of loose framework. And it was so much fun. And I will tell you though, kind of as things are approaching and we're getting ready, like even like the week before, they're like, hey, we're wondering, can we add a little bit more of a spicy element to it? I'm like, hell yeah.
Yes,
Which I can't wait for that to be shown for sure. But it was
so much
it was a whirlwind, I'll tell you, because I was like, oh God, okay, can I do this? Because I don't think I'm great on like as a speaker. Like this type of situation was great, but I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna be on like there'd be cameras like in front of me, and there were a lot of cameras. There were a lot of cameras in my face, and I just remember thinking like, I'm here for these women. I'm going to block all of the cameras out and just be me and show up in, my authentic self. And I think I really did a good job of that.
Awesome. I don't know how much you can spill, but did you end up working like one-to-one with the women? Did you go group setting? Like, can you tell me kind of like how the party played out?
It was pretty much a group setting. So think about it as like a party. So it was a party. It was a sex positive party. And I mean, and that's something that I love to do. I mean, going into some woman's home, think about just the vulnerability and the openness that, people have, right, to show up in that space. And so you have someone coming in like me, who's got I had a lot of accessories and I had a lot of fun stuff to show these women and let them touch and feel and maybe even taste, if I can say that too. But that to me was like so much fun to go into someone's home and here's this beautiful group of women who are wanting to learn more about their pleasure, their sensuality, and talk and just be so open. And I think that we need this so much all over the world. We need to start having these conversations and have that community support.
I love that. Well, so one of the big things from season 1 was Layla. I don't know if you're able to say anything about that, but do we have some fireworks maybe happening? Even a wink will do at this point, or just you can say, "Hey."
I'm not a great winker, but here you go.
We finally reached the big O. Now, Erica, this is the point where you say you got to tune in and find out. Wink.
Yeah, wink, wink. Yes, you do. Tune in and turn on, babe.
I love that. Okay. Anything else that you want to say about the show? Any like last remarks about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? Or
I'll say that the women were so lovely. Like I felt so, excuse me. Hold on, I'm going to take a sip of coffee.
Go for it.
This is a Grise and Grise. And I don't know if you can read what this says, but it's very appropriate for today.
Love that.
But just being able to, now I forgot.
Yeah,
last minute. The women were so engaging and so open, and the conversations that were had were remarkable. And hearing even just little side conversations about something that maybe I presented or talked about, and just what the excitement that came from that. And I think that's what was so important and so validating for me for the work that I do, and also knowing that women in community, we freaking rock, and this is what we need. We need it. We all need it.
Love it. Okay, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and after a word from our sponsors, we are going to dive into Erica's birth chart to see if she is truly aligned with her starry-eyed placements, or if she needs to do a little bit of work. So stay tuned. Okay. This episode of Rising Sign, Rise and Grind is brought to you by me. Well, technically Lion and Elm, but as a founder, CEO, and only employee. It means that technically this is brought to you by me. And they say, as a Leo rising, self-promotion is self-care. Now, first and foremost, Lion and Elm is a Supered partner. Supered is a sales enablement tool that helps you train, onboard, and organize your sales team's chaos without crying into your CRM. However, as a Cancer sun, I approve of the crying. Think of it as your Virgo best friend, organized, intuitive, and just passive-aggressive enough to tell you that you're doing it wrong, and a little more judgy to stare at you until you get it right. Okay. Now, if you're interested in setting up Supered or using Supered, go to the link in my bio. You can get 5 free starter seats without your credit card. If you're interested in upgrading to even more, you can do the Super Test Drive powered by Lion and Elm. That'll get you 50 starter seats for 6 months. And even more so, if you want to upgrade to Pro seats, I throw in an extra 10 hours of implementation time to get you up and going. Because trust me, you want Supered set up by someone who actually knows what they're doing. Okay. Now, all right, let's get back to the show and see if our superstar guest today is Supered aligned. Talk soon. Oh, hey, welcome back to Rising Sign, Rise and Grind. I'm your host, Lindsay John, and I am joined today with Erica Lemke, the sex coach based out of Salt Lake City, as we talked about, also featured on Mormon Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Hey, in this little section, okay, we are going to do what's called the Cosmic CEO audit on you, Erica. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay.
I am ready. Yes.
Erica has shared her birth time with me. And what I like to do is I go through and I look at a couple different placements to see if Erica's truly aligned with her birth chart or if there's a little bit of work that we need to do. So this Cosmic CEO audit is actually available in my link in bio in the Stan store for $9. I do a mastermind where we really dig in to your human design, your astrology, and all that to kind of really create your own solo entrepreneur path. But these are the couple placements I'd like to look at and talk about first. So do you feel aligned, Erica? Do you know? Are you scared?
You know, I do, but I'm really curious, so I want to know more.
Okay. So I look at 5 different placements as we go through these. Okay. Most of these, let's just go. Okay. So the first one I like to talk about is your second house. Now, the 2nd, the 6th, and the 10th house in astrology are considered like your career houses. The second house is how you make money as a solo entrepreneur. Okay. So when you really embody the ruler of your second house for you, you're in Aries second house. Aries are very fiery, passionate, in your face.
Not me at all. Yeah.
Unapologetic. So really it is the second house is like your money energy and like how you are going to earn money as a solo entrepreneur. Okay. So your vibe, right? You're fierce, you're fast, you're independent, you're pioneering. You tend to do things that other people won't touch. In business, you need to feel in control of your earnings. Okay. You're entrepreneurial AF. So you thrive by launching kind of really bold and acting fast and pricing unapologetically. So you're really unapologetic about what you do.
I would say that's 100% true.
I was like,
Especially, yeah. I don't think you cannot be in this industry.
Yeah, very. You are very aligned. Okay. Especially if you're claiming space as a leader in this field. Now, would you say that sex coaching is kind of like an untouched field at this point, right?
It is. Yeah. In my case, you know, I live in Utah, and I think there is just, there might be, you know, a few on one hand.
Yep. Fabulous. Okay. So I'm getting yes, aligned on that one.
Yes.
Okay. The next thing I like to look at is your midheaven placement. Okay. This is the highest part of your chart, and this has a lot to do with your career trajectory and your public image. So how people are going to see you. Now, as a solo entrepreneur or the owner of a small business, this is really important because you are your brand. You have a Sagittarius midheaven. Now, your vibe with Sagittarius, this very much big thinker, a liberator, a teacher, and a truth teller. Okay. So with a Sagittarius midheaven, your career has to have a message, like a philosophy. You're meant to expand minds, challenge norms, and help others live freely. So, what's your initial reaction on that one?
Spot on.
You're like, yeah.
Spot on. Holy crap. Yes. Cheers to that.
my son's artwork. I don't have anything that's fun and exciting as woke up sexy. No, I woke up to a screaming 4-year-old is what I woke up to. Okay. So some brand content ideas for you if you are looking. Myth busting sex ed, right? Which you like to do. Healing, shame through freedom. Okay. Talking openly about taboo topics with a teacher's heart. And turning your own journey into curriculum. So how did you get to where you are? All of that kind of stuff. And you, I would say, are highly aligned there, especially if you are doing group programming, like parties on Secret Less Mormon Wives, or speaking publicly like you are right now. Okay, how does that feel?
2 thumbs up, man. It's giving me goosebumps. My God.
Good. Awesome. The third placement we're looking at is your Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is the planet of love and expansion. He likes to do cutesy shit. So really, anywhere where your Jupiter's in your chart, really likes to expand on. So if you dig into your Jupiter, this is like where you really can start like expanding on your business and making more money. So since yours is in you have a Scorpio Jupiter, and sorry, I'm pulling up your pattern once again, which is in the 9th house. Okay. So your vibe with that kind of Scorpio is very deep, transformational, taboo breaking things. So when you, I wish I was making this up.
Yep. Keep going.
Yes, your growth will come through diving deep with your clients, right? So trauma healing, intimacy, power reclamation. Okay. Jupiter in Scorpio, transformation is your religion, right? The more you talk about transformations that your clients have, the more that you will make it. Okay. So feeling aligned there.
Okay. Oh, hell yeah.
I would say you're pretty aligned, but you know what? We're going to do one more placement. Okay. And this is your Mercury placement. Okay. So your Mercury placement is how you communicate. It is how you should, how you're talking, hand movement, where you should be putting your voice, right? It's your voice and your messaging. For example, I'm a Leo Mercury. I'm also Leo rising. I'm also Leo Venus. I have a lot of Leo energy. And I also have a Leo who's 4 years old. So like Leo Mercuries are very loud and like in your face and like kind of unapologetic. Okay. It's an interesting one because like you are a Taurus Mercury, and Tauruses are very grounded, very calm, slow to speak, but powerful. So like when you say something, when you're most aligned, you speak really grounded, very calmly, very softly. So in your business, you should communicate best through storytelling, sensual details, and consistency. Your voice is the soothing presence that most of your clients are going to need.
Honestly, that they all resonate with me, but I think that one is like really truly spot on. And I can even think about that like just starting like school. I mean, I think that's been part of me for forever. Yeah. So that is spot on, which is so awesome.
Their content style around that should be like the really slow, sensual language, not like rapid fire tips. ASMR adjacent tone or sensory storytelling, which like when you think about what you're doing, like you should be having that like really calm and like being able to guide. Have you ever done erotic, oh my gosh, erotic, or thought about doing like not erotic
audio?
Telling. Oh, audio. Yeah.
I love listening to them. I mean, I love listening to them.
Just saying that you should do them. You should.
All right. I'd be willing to try that. Why not? I love it.
So, Erica, do you feel aligned with your birth chart?
100,000% yes.
I would say yes.
I honestly can't think of anything that you said that doesn't align with me, both in my personal life and my professional life, quite frankly. That's right on.
Audits,
amazing.
Because even the most like skeptical person will sit here and be like, does it really say that? And I'm like, yes, it really says that. Yes, it really, that's exactly what it says. They're like, you're bullshitting me. I'm like, no. So when you're truly aligned, like this is like for me, when you're truly aligned with your birth chart, like things just seem easy. Have things felt easy in the past couple of years versus like before moving into this field?
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I think too, just just even knowing this information too makes me feel like this is what I am destined to do.
Love it.
100%.
I think we are at time. So a couple things to wrap this up. Erica is joining my mastermind. She doesn't know yet. She's joining my mastermind.
Hey.
6 weeks where we're fully going to go through and really align to your birth chart. Erica has some freebies for our listeners. They are in her stand store, which will be linked in the description of this podcast, wherever you're listening. Also, Erica, where else can we find you?
You can find me. I have a website, sexcoachslc.com. And I'm happy if anyone wants to just even reach out to me. They can reach out to me at Erica, ERICA, at sexcoachslc.com. LinkedIn, Instagram are probably the two that I use the most. And I've been doing TikTok, but I'm going to keep doing that. So you might find me on there too. So
you work on your ASMR, your erotic audios.
Okay. There you go. Okay, well, that's to be continued.
I wish that my chart audit told me that I could do ASMR, like erotic novels. No, mine just says be loud and scream at things.
But you're so good at it.
Fantastic. This is why I must be a mother. Erica, thank you so much. It's been so much fun. I can't wait to see what happens on the show today.
Me too.
And
we may have to have another discussion about it.
I know. Probably a rising sign, rising grind. We'll bring on one of the ladies. See if we can get them on this podcast.
That would be fantastic. Another, wink, wink, right?
Baby. Talk about anyways. This has been another episode of Rising Sign, Rise and Grind, the podcast where your birth chart gets a performance group. Thank you so much for listening, and make sure you subscribe.